Hello everyone, welcome back to Maverick Mods. My name is Mark. My goal is to keep the survivors on the road, get the survivors back on the road. If you can't, take parts from it, put it on another survivor, get it back on the road. That's kind of what I'm doing this week with my 1998 Dodge Ram 1500 project truck. Picked it up for 300 bucks. Basically, it was destined for the scrapyard. With a little bit of effort and a hope and not a whole lot of money, get it back on the road looking good, and it can be a good, solid, reliable vehicle for somebody out there. This week, interior, specifically dash. And as what usually happens, it's not quite that easy. So grab your popcorn, let's get started. So the dash on my 98 Ram 1500 project truck, very common with these. The whole upper dash is made of plastic, like most cars are these days and trucks. The sun gets to it after a while and it gets cracks in it. And if you let it go long enough, boy, it really gets some cracks in it. That's what was the case on this pickup. There really is no fixing it other than to replace it. LMC truck makes a replacement dash, which is the direction I went, because there's no such thing as finding one in a junkyard. Every one you find in a junkyard is in worse shape than the one on this truck. So that's what we're going to do this week. Just replace the dash. And it's not the entire dash. It's just the upper, I guess, half the upper shell. And as usually what happens, it never quite goes the way you planned. If you've ever wondered what's up underneath that, what the mystery is up underneath your dashboard, keep watching. Let's take a look. I'm going to go ahead and replace this dash pad. I'm start off by apologizing for the light and the camera angles. There's only so much I can do because I'm going to be moving back and forth. I'm going to try and set you guys right here. Hopefully you'll be able to kind of get the majority of what I'm doing. Again, we'll see how it goes. So I'm guessing that probably the first thing I could probably do before I even break any tools out is get rid of some of this debris. Like I said, this happens, pretty often to these vehicles. This is one of the worst I've seen. But the more kind of broken pieces I can get out of the way, the less there is in the way, I guess you could call it. So, all right, that's pretty much it on this side. All right, it's over on this side. Oh, yep, there's more. Okay, we'll leave that for now. I think that pretty much covers the obviously broken pieces. An 8mm is your friend for a lot of this dash. Let me go ahead and grab one of those. At this point, there probably is an order of disassembly. However, I think that kind of went out the window when everything kind of broke. So I've got a series of bolts here up at the base of the windshield. Go ahead and get those out. I can pull this out. And we've got another broken piece. There's a little pin there. I'll have to pop that out. Another one there. Now, any more pieces? Oh. Yeah, that was a pin there. And that one. Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and get the HVAC controls out of the way. I might be able to just kind of fold this back in. I might have to take it off. Not sure yet. It's got a passenger airbag kind of module thingy. Why is that stuck there? Oh, that's why. Duh. Ooh, that's nasty. Let me grab something to pop that loose with. While I'm at it, the instrument cluster needs to come out. It should just be 4 Phillips. I do need to replace this lens for the cluster. I just haven't found one yet. Not supposed to be this hard. All right, I'm stuck on something. Oh, that's right. How do I get you loose? The little connector thingy for the gear shift is kind of stuck there. There we go. All right, cluster's out. All right, another big piece. And there's chunks of plastic everywhere. Another one. Okay. We're getting there. I've got to remove the steering column to get the dash out. I just hate to be the bearer of bad tidings. There's just no way around it. There are a couple of covers on the column here. I think there's some T20s on the bottom. Helps covers come off. That way you can access the wiring harness, which has got to come loose at the turn signal stock, ignition switch on the other side, airbag, it's got to be disconnected, clock spring. That's all disconnected now. There's a couple of nuts holding the column to the firewall. Got those loose. And up under the hood, way down in there somewhere, you got to take the steering shaft loose from the column shaft and take the gear shift selector arm off of the little gear shift there. So that's done. Last thing I've got to disconnect, there's a couple of nuts or bolts or screws, whatever, I guess bolts, holding the column to the crossbar itself. Got to take those loose, and I think the column will come out. Wish me luck. What am I hung up on now? There we go. Okay. Wiggle, wiggle, and it's out. One steering column. All right, the column's out. Still doesn't mean I'm done. Still a lot to go. There's a couple of bolts down kind of in the center there, 2 on each side for the frame, and now the dash is loose. I probably got about 1 million wires to disconnect. I can see the antenna needs to be disconnected over on this side. Got that. I don't know if the harness needs to come with. I'll have to look at that a little bit and see. I think the harness can come with it. I'm not sure. I'm going to be working a little bit more on this, and let's see what happens. I would really, really, really like to say that no bad words were spoken in the removing of this dash. If I had actually aired that footage, there would have been so many bleeps that you would have heard like 2 words, and the rest of it would have been nothing but bleeps. But the dash is out. And that thing is incredibly heavy too. Got it over here on the bench. I've got some prep work to do before I can put the new dash pad or the new dash top on this. And that comes basically from a lot of the plastic support structure underneath. Pieces of it have broken off with the old broken dash top. Normally, if I'm doing plastic repairs, I would break out my plastic welder. Unfortunately on this, I've got so many little pieces, and here's a big handful of them right here. These are all pieces that came somewhere off of that. So I'm gonna have to go through and piece all this together. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make my plastic welder work on this. So instead, we went down to the store, and I don't think you can go wrong with JB Weld. This is actually plastic bonder. I've never had a whole lot of luck gluing plastics back together. That has to do with the the chemical composition. You know, plastic is a petroleum product, and there are oils in the plastic that are always there. And oil and glue generally don't mix. Never used this before, but I'm going to give it a try. See if it'll work. There is no guarantee this is going to work, but you know what? My plastic welder just isn't quite precise enough to do this kind of work. Now let's see how this fits in. Oh, let's try it again. I actually wound up on gluing a part right there, which I need to put glue on anyway, which is okay, because there's that piece. Now this one fits in. Now this says 15-minute cure time. I've got to let it sit here for a while. I think I'll let that sit. I'll see if I can find some of these other pieces that kind of maybe squeeze up in here too. I got to thinking, you know, the dash is out. Is there any reason to worry about anything in the HVAC box? The heater core. No. Then I thought, you know, I better check. And sure enough, so I looked at the heater core, and it's all crusty right up in here. So I'm thinking, well, maybe it's leaking. So I went out and looked under the hood. So under the hood, I traced the heater hoses. Here's one. The other one's over on this side. And I found this. See if I can get it out here. So the heater core hoses just loop together. And so I've got the air conditioner disconnected, but that up there, if you can see it, is the heater core hose outlets. And they're not in great shape. So I'm thinking, you know, probably needs a heater core. The evidence is stacking up that it might. So I went ahead and figured, okay, well, I need to evacuate the air conditioner. Turns out I didn't have to do that because the AC was fully discharged. And then I thought, all right, well, so I've got to take the computer out, or at least set it off the side, take the dryer off. And there's 1, 2, 3, up there's 4 screws that have studs coming through the firewall to take loose. So here on the inside, it shouldn't really be that much. I shouldn't actually have to disconnect anything else. I've got one nut on a stud here, and there's one up underneath here. So I've got both of those loose. Let's see if this thing will come out. And it will. Now, is there anything else hanging on with this? Nope, it's free. I'm going to take this over on the table, and let's replace the heater core. With the box out, I really don't want to take this apart unless I have to. And I'm hoping I can just slide this out. Let's see if that's possible. I've got it loose here. There's a bracket, a hold down bracket here and here. I've got them loose. Let's see if it'll just slide out. Because if it will, it'll save me a little bit of time and a little bit of aggravation. What is going on here? It's like there's seals on the end that are just, they're no good anymore. This heater core is roached. All right, this is weak. This is not coming out easy enough. I'm going to take this box apart. Well, I have no earthly idea how many screws there are to get this apart. I'm just going to start taking screws out. All right, that's everything on the perimeter. There's probably one more hidden somewhere because there always is. There we go. One hidden one. Always one hidden somewhere. At least. There may be more. Well, I think this thing needed a good cleaning out anyway. All right, I finally got it to a point where I can wiggle it slowly, a little bit at a time. This thing is just so swollen on the edges that it's just kind of jamming itself in there as it comes out. And guys, I'm here to tell you, I don't know that I've ever seen a heater cord leak this bad. I mean, just the physical appearance this bad. I mean, this thing, usually long before it gets to this point, it leaks so bad inside the cab that somebody does something about it. But wow. I mean, obviously they just blocked this off, but this thing had been leaking for who knows how long, even before then. All right, well, enough about this old one. In the trash it goes. Big cleanup on the HVAC box. Before I go too all fired crazy, I've got the box apart, cleaned up. Well, it's blown off. It's not cleaned up, but it's clean enough. The seals all around everything. This, I mean, that is crumbling to dust. And I don't want to put this back in like this. I mean, my blend door here is just coming out nothing but dust. There's nothing left of the seals. You can put it back together this way and all of that dust will wind up being blown through the cab. You know, some of them, these are still good. That's all right. This one is still good. You know, it's kind of hit or miss. This one's bad. This one, see, you look at that, it just, that whole seal just crumbles to dust. There is no, at least I have not found a seal kit for the HVAC box. I do, however, have some foam. It's adhesive back foam. This is, I think, is what, 2-inch wide? Yeah, I think that's 2-inch wide. I think there's enough to do this. I've also got another little roll here. It's kind of thin, but it's a little thicker. So between that, I've also got a roll of neoprene, which I don't think I'll use. I might. There may be a place where this comes in handy. But I'm going to go ahead and just identify which ones of these seals are bad. It looks like a couple of the blend doors are, yeah, this blend door is just, it's completely done. But that tape is wide enough. I think I can cut it to shape. I won't be able to get the full shape, but I can, like, you know, do it in 4 sections. Let me go ahead and do that because now is the perfect time to do it. Otherwise, if I get rid of all those seals and just put it back in, there'll be air leaks everywhere. So it wouldn't be too bad, but it may make noise. It may whistle a little bit. Anyway, let me go ahead and I'll see if I can pull maybe this blend door out, clean it up, put a new seal on it, put it back together, and just let's see how that looks. Well, I think this worked. I got this cleaned up. I know it's kind of hard to see because it's like the same color foam as the blend door, but I just cut some out of this 2-inch foam adhesive that I had, sheet that I had. I just cut strips, you know, just to kind of match where the door goes or where the seal is supposed to go. And so let's stick this in here real quick and see. And that thing looks like it's going to seal on that side, and it's going to flip up this way and seal over here. I think it's going to work. So let me get if I can get it back in without breaking it, let me get this little pin back in. It looks like it kind of goes, there's a way it's supposed to go. Let's see if I can find that. Here, push it. I think it just pushes and locks. Okay. Yeah. It looks like it's going to seal to me. All right, I've got one seal here. These are good. This is good. This one is terrible. So I've got another seal on this blend door. This one still feels good. So I'm not going to mess with this. Let me check the bottom. I think I've got one more side to rebuild. I think I can start putting this back together. We're down to the dog ate my homework excuse. No, I didn't lose the video footage. I've got all the video footage of putting the HVAC box back together, installing the HVAC box, and then putting the dash back in. Unfortunately, all of this, you know, it happened probably a month ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that, back when I was still struggling with the music issue from the shop next door. And I'm not complaining because they play good music. Problem is, YouTube changed their policies and that background music was showing up as background on my videos, and I was getting copyright problems as I was trying to upload the videos. That's what the whole microphone thing, where that came from. But all this work was done just before that happened. So there's no way I could edit out the background music. And so unfortunately, you don't get to see me, or maybe fortunately for you, you don't get to see me put the HVAC box back together and put the dash in. So back to the action. Many savory words were spoken, but it's in. Well, the dash is in. I still have everything to put into the dash, but the dash itself is in. So we're good to go there. Let me finish up kind of filling out all the blank spaces here. I still got to put the steering column back in, and we'll come back and take a look when I've got that finished. All right, guys, it's mostly done. Still haven't found a radio. I'm still working on that, but it's got a new bezel. It's got, of course, the new dash. Everything's back together. The interior's, well, it's about halfway done. Still got to do a headliner. That'll come here shortly. And, I've got little stuff left to do, but the hardest part, which is the dash, is done. Let's see, I'm up to about step number, 200 out of 764 on resurrecting the Ram 1500 pickup. This steering wheel, it's in rough shape. And it was in rough shape to begin with, and then whatever wrap they put on there made it even rougher. So I did another junkyard trip, had a good haul this time. Actually found all the parts I was looking for, one of them being a new steering wheel. Well, a new used steering wheel. But I got to get the old one off. I've got 2 bolts on the back side for the cover here. This is the airbag as well. I've got those bolts out, so let's go ahead and get the airbag out. Now this, I have the battery disconnected. It's been disconnected for about, probably about 30 minutes, just in case. So I've got 2 wires here to unplug. Come on. There we go. That was easier than I thought. Okay. Airbag is disconnected and it didn't blow up in my face. That's a win. Let's see. Wires are good. What do we got on the old new steering wheel here? What all do I need to transfer over? This one does not have the, the cruise control. So I'm going to pop those off real quick. Push it, little switch comes off. We'll take these wires, get them out of the way, out from underneath the wheel there. Okay, so now the wheel's ready to come off. There you go. I believe this is 21 millimeter, and it is. I think we're gonna need to lock the steering wheel. If it'll lock, there we go. Nope. All right. Oh, I'm sure it'll lock eventually. There we go. All right. Now, in theory, these wheels are keyed, so you can't move them. But what I'm going to do, because I'm too lazy to go get my wheel puller, and I might have to get that, but sometimes, oh, ouch. If you just give it a wiggle, and that didn't work. Let me go get my wheel puller. There we go. And off she comes. And I remember where all my wires go through. Take the old steering wheel. That can go in the trash. Take the new steering wheel, and like I said, this is keyed. There it is. All right, so wires through the bottom and one through the top. Now you notice it won't go that way. It won't go that way. But you don't want to screw around with it too much because this clock spring needs to match up to this little flat here. Just like that. There we go. Okay. Nut. All right, we'll get the last one here. All right, go ahead and tighten the airbag up. And we've got a, not new, it's a new used part, but at least a serviceable steering wheel. I do have a cover. I'm going to put a wrap on this, but it's in a whole lot better shape than the old one. I've got to hook the battery up, and if the airbag doesn't go bang, then I did something right. With the interior mostly done, I said still got to do the headliner, but other than that, the interior mostly done. The truck is basically essentially ready for paint to finish the resurrection. I've got the transmission working and driving and behaving. So we'll see how that goes. But now I got a question for you guys. Now, just because the truck is in the paint booth, don't read anything into that. It's just I needed someplace to park it. It's going to need a full paint job. I mean, I've got, obviously clear coat damage, actually clear coat gone on the hood, rust issues on the damage to fix. Not a whole lot of dents and things like that. Same thing on the roof. I've got a CB antenna to get rid of and fix the hole there. Other than that, obviously the roof is going to need, basically the whole thing needs a complete repaint, scuff and shoot, etc. I do have a little body damage here. Just a couple of door dings. There's a little ripple, things like that in the third door here. I guess technically that'd be the fourth door because the other one opens too. I've got a dent in the bed here. Feels pretty good back to here. I've got probably an old repair here that I've got to do something with. So I've got to fix it here. Otherwise, not in too bad a shape. I did replace the old torn up bumper. It's just a junkyard bumper, but it's in good shape. So that's all fixed up. And this side, with the exception of just one or two little dings, there's one right there. This side is in pretty good shape. Said clear coat gone back to here on the door. Otherwise, body is really good. So the question is, of course, I'm going to repaint it white. I go back with the factory color. Here's the question. Do I duplicate the two-tone? I'm asking you guys. It takes a little more time, slightly higher cost to replicate the two-tone, or should I just repaint it solid white? What do you think? Put some comments down below. Let me know what you think. That's going to do it for this week, guys. Got the dash swapped out, got the heater core replaced, HVAC box is cleaned up. When I fixed the cooling system, redid the intake, at the same time, plugged the air conditioner back in. I did have to replace the air conditioner compressor, which came from the rolling chassis. So essentially, more free parts. Didn't have to spend money on new compressor, recharge the AC, and now it blows cold air. So it blows hot and cold. Total win. As I told you guys at the beginning of this build, I was going to keep track of everything I spent on it to see if it's feasible to resurrect, something that's destined for the scrapyard without breaking the bank. So let's see where we're at. And I am using Maverick math only at this point. So that would be this column right here. And starting, let's see, last time I did the radiator, the intake, and transmission service, various on that. I was up to a total cost $549, including the purchase of the vehicle. So here, where did I start? So this time, the dash, the instrument bezel, the heater core, and various parts and pieces to get that done cost me $500. So I'm up to $1,049 now. the bumper from the junkyard, steering wheel from the junkyard, and various other parts and pieces. I needed a couple. I needed the power seat switch, things like that. That was $100, so I'm up to $11.49. Replaced the air conditioner compressor, which came with the rolling chassis, so there was no cost on that. So I'm still at $11.49, and I had a couple of cans of R31, a couple of cans of R134 sitting on the shelf, so didn't have to go buy those. So far, I'm up to call it $1,150 in on this build. I'm now down to a paint job, and this truck is now going to be ready for a new home somewhere. So once again, put down the comments. Let me know. Should I just go back plain white? Should I put the two-tone back? Let me know what you think. Next week, back on the Firebird, more glorious, glorious sanding. I certainly appreciate everybody tuning in every week. You know, if you like this video, hit the like button. Maybe give me a comment. Maybe subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. We'll see you guys next week. Everybody, have a great day.